Apple is among the US's most recognizable brands, and its devices are sold all over the world, including in Turkey. But rising tensions with Washington may put the iPhone maker in Ankara's crosshairs.
We will produce every product we are importing from abroad with foreign currency here, and we will be the ones exporting these products. We will impose a boycott on US electronic products. If they have iPhones, there is Samsung on the other side.
Turkish Airlines and Turk Telecom have also announced they will stop advertising on US media platforms. And the Urban Planning and Environment Ministry says it will not use any US materials in its construction projects. It's the latest in a series of tit-for-tat economic blows from the erstwhile allies. Earlier this month, Washington imposed sanctions on 2 Turkish ministers over the detention of American pastor Andrew Brunson in Turkey. Ankara responded with similar restrictions on US officials. The Trump administration then doubled tariffs on Turkish steel and aluminum exports. The rift is driving Turkey to look for alternatives to trading in US dollars.
In accordance with our action plan, we will make the necessary steps to use our own currency in our businesses and trade. While the dollar loses its credibility, we will continue to take even more significant steps to protect the Turkish lira. You will see that the Turkish lira will become stronger in the coming days. Also, the more we reduce inflation and the current account deficit, the more our economy becomes stronger.
Though the 2 countries have been NATO allies for over 70 years, trade ties between Ankara and Washington are nothing to write home about. Trade between the 2 countries stood at $19 billion in 2017. That's a paltry tally compared to $155 billion in trade between Turkey and the European Union. Over the same period, direct investments between Ankara and Washington totaled less than $4 billion. Simply put, trade restrictions may not have a significant impact on the US and Turkish economies, but their effect on relations between the two may be much more far-reaching. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, Ege Yazgan joins me now from Istanbul. He is the acting rector at Bilgi University. Welcome to the program and thank you for your time. Firstly, we heard there some of the responses that the Turkish government has made in response to this growing rift for the US, a proposed boycott of US electronics, weaning itself of the US dollar. I'm wondering, what sort of impact might this have on both the Turkish and American economies?
Let me start first to summarizing the events that happened last week. And the last week, as you know, the Turkish economy was hit a severe shock, for an exchange shock. When you see such events, the first question is to ask is to whether this is a transitory shock or a permanent shock. This is apparently a transitory shock because the economic fundamentals of Turkish economy, especially the fiscal stance, and then when you banking sector, strong banking sector, a relatively acceptable fiscal stance of the and the monetary policy tightening and everything is not compatible with such levels of exchange rate. So therefore, this should be a transitory shock. So as it happens yesterday, and after the central bank intervention, central bank provided liquidity to the market, and also provided some support to shallowness of the market, to eliminate the shallowness of the market, because most of the movements in the exchange rate comes from the shallowness of the market that allows the speculative behavior in the market. So therefore, the preemptive measures of the central bank reduced this burden on the exchange rate. So therefore, the Turkish lira started to regain its value and recovered significantly at the beginning of this today, yes, and started say.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Mr. Yazgan, but we've seen President Erdogan strike a defiant tone in response to the US actions against Turkey. He says Donald Trump is waging an economic war against Turkey in order to get the country to, I guess, bend to its will. Is President Erdogan right? Is the US waging an economic war?
Well, that all depends. This is there is apparently a political turmoil between Turkey and U.S., but this is and there should be some diplomatic efforts to recover all these relationships between Turkey and U.S. So, however, as a politicians now, they make speeches like this, but this is normal. This should be seen normal. But we think this should be resolved shortly. And however, the economic impact of this on the economy, it should be evaluated on a different level, no matter what. And even though this issue is not resolved, then at the new level, the Turkish economy will adjust to a new equilibrium with a competitive exchange rate compatible with this situation. And the Turkish economy is very resilient and flexible. And it will be...
Mr. Yazgan, we will see how that all unfolds, but unfortunately we will have to leave it there. But Ege Yazgan from Bilgi University, thank you so much